This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Oh, it's such a pretty morning. If you have time, maybe take a quick walk outside, enjoy a cup of coffee outside.
Yeah, it looks good and it feels good too.
Yeah, not incredibly humid or muggy as you're heading out for today, but certainly going to be hot as we head over the next couple of days. Storm tracker right now traveling through downtown Louisville. Things are quiet across the metro as of right now. Our temperatures are in the upper 60s and the low 70s. For many of you, you're actually a little bit cooler than where you were this time yesterday morning, but still pretty comfortable as most of us are sitting in our sticky meter in a muggy category, which means, yeah, we're dealing with some of that humidity, but that's not surprising, of course, on a summer morning, right? We get into the afternoon, going to be jumping into the upper 80s and the low 90s for your highs. So warmer this afternoon compared to where we were yesterday, with rain chances lower across the region for today. But as we get towards the end of the week, that is when we'll see some more of that rain coming into our forecast. Rob?
I want to thank so much. You will see the brake lights after a disabled vehicle kind of slowing things down in this area. We're talking about 64 East, right at the 9th Street, the ramp area of there. That already is kind of a narrow exit. So watch your speed there after a disabled vehicle slowing things down. So keep an eye out for that. Also keeping our eyes on cleanup after a two-car crashes, one at the Gene Snyder Freeway. That's 265 westbound at exit 65. The camera's moving right there. Let's switch. Hang on. There we go. That's the first crash we're talking about. Again, that's at 265 westbound at 65, exit number 10. Also watching cleanup of another crash nearby at the outer loop at Laurel Ridge Road. Back over to you, Shannon.
Thank you. A Louisville attorney has now filed a new lawsuit on behalf of the family and estate of Matthew Sweets. Sweets was one of the 15 people killed last November when UPS Flight 2976 tried to take off from the airport, but then crash landed and burst into flames. The 37-year-old survived the initial crash, but suffered second and third degree burns to 95% of his body. He died in the hospital 2 days later. The lawsuit says Sweets was at Grade A Auto Parts selling scrap metal to make extra money for Christmas when the plane crashed. The lawsuit names Boeing, UPS, and several others, accusing them of putting profits over people. Families of the victims of the Old National Bank mass shooting are continuing their lawsuit against River City Firearms. That's the gun store that sold the weapon used in the attack.
Attorneys were in Jefferson County Court Monday for a hearing focused on two motions, one seeking access to mental health records and another asking the court to reconsider earlier rulings on what evidence can be used. In the lawsuit, families claim the store should be held responsible for selling the gun, despite what they say were red flags during the sale, including the buyer appearing unfamiliar with the weapon and avoiding eye contact. The business previously filed a motion for dismissal, which the judge was denied in 2025. River City Firearms argues Kentucky law doesn't allow for these types of arguments and federal law prohibits this type of legal claim. But Judge Mitch Perry disagreed, denying the motion to dismiss. A status hearing is scheduled for today. No trial date has been set.
New this morning, a violent stretch of days in Louisville continues after a man was shot early this morning. LMPD says it happened about 1:30 a.m. on East Oak Street, not far from Shelby Park. The victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. No arrests have been made in this case. But that's just another one for police to solve after 4 separate weekend shootings. The shootings happened in Shively, in Cloverleaf, Old Louisville, and downtown. 3 people were killed, including a 14-year-old boy, and 7 others were injured. The violence began early Saturday morning. It went through Sunday afternoon. 10 people total were shot at 4 locations across the county. The 14-year-old boy who was killed has been identified as Jaleel Brown. Community leaders say they continue to plead people work together to solve the issue of violent crime.
It's critical for this whole community to understand that all boats rise together.
All of us have a common connection with children that can keep us motivated to create safe and habitable environments for families to thrive in, which everybody can chip in and be a part of.
One of those shooting sites now has an emergency license suspension on its record. Shively ABC cited HK Liquors for what happened inside the store, where a person was shot and killed and 3 others hurt. Police say that shooting happened at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is after the operating hours listed on the business's front door.
A judge is denying a plea deal for a Southern Indiana man accused in his girlfriend's death. Now the case is heading to trial. Court records show prosecutors offered Derek Pixley a deal that would have lowered his murder charge to reckless homicide and sentenced him to 6 years in prison. He's charged with murder in connection to Brittany Bowman's death. She was shot in Henryville in 2022 and spent 3 months in the hospital before dying from her injuries. In court on Monday, Bowman's mother said plea agreements happen too frequently, and it's not in the best interest of anyone affected by domestic violence to accept the agreement. Judge Nicholas Carafa seemed to agree.
In light of what was offered in the victim's mother's statements here today, and after carefully considering this agreement, in light of the charges filed against Mr. Pixley, the court finds that this proposal falls outside the range of what the court finds reasonable. The court will exercise its authority to reject the plea agreement.
The trial is set to start on November 30th in Clark County, Indiana.
The governor of South Carolina has appointed an interim replacement for Republican Senator Lindsey Graham following his sudden passing. That is his sister. The lawmaker was rushed to the hospital late Saturday, dying of what initial reports indicate was a torn aorta. Now his sister will take over his seat. Graham helped raise Darlene Graham Nordone from the time she was 13 after both of their parents died. He was 21 years old at the time. Their mother died from Hodgkin's lymphoma and their father from a heart attack about a year later.
It is such an honor. Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him.
Senator Graham was up for re-election this fall. A special Republican primary will be held next month to determine who will replace him on the ballot. Governor Beshear has also ordered flags be lowered in honor of Graham.
Senator Graham's death comes as longtime Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is recovering after being hospitalized nearly a month ago. He hasn't been cleared to return to the Senate floor, but he says he's still working with his staff. McConnell says he suffered a fall that briefly left him unconscious. He says he also had a mild case of pneumonia. Senator McConnell says doctors found no signs of concussion, heart attack, or stroke. He's since been moved to a rehab facility to help in his recovery.
The number of people in Kentucky and Indiana suspected of getting sick from the microscopic parasite Cyclospora continues to grow.
It comes as health leaders say they may have found a source in the outbreak. Rob Wells is here with a breakdown of the numbers. Rob.
The Kentucky Department for Public Health is investigating 100 reported cases of cyclosporiasis statewide, 61 of which have now been confirmed. In the state of Indiana, state health leaders say they're investigating at least 30 potential cases. Cyclospora is a foodborne parasite linked to fresh fruits and vegetables. The illness causes watery, explosive diarrhea that can last 1 to 2 weeks. Outbreaks in other states have been larger, with more than 3,000 cases reported in both Michigan and in the state of Ohio. Michigan health leaders say that the outbreak may be linked to lettuce and salad greens, but an official cause is still under investigation. The symptoms, we've learned, typically begin 2 to 14 days after exposure.
Is not a new germ. So cases of cyclosporiasis tend to increase every year during the summer. What is new is that some states in the Midwest, including Michigan and Ohio, are reporting hundreds of cases of cyclosporiasis. So that's different.
To reduce contamination, the Centers for Disease Control recommends washing fruits and vegetables under running water before eating or cutting them. And they say cooking those items at least 160 degrees, that's also recommended. Meanwhile, some restaurants have reportedly pulled certain fresh ingredients off their menu while the investigation continues. Kentucky health officials say the strain isn't typically transmitted person to person. Shannon?
Thanks, Rob. Governor Beshear has confirmed his senior advisor, Rocky Atkins, is no longer part of the administration. Atkins served his last day as advisor last week, and there's mounting speculation he'll announce a run for governor. Atkins is a former Kentucky state representative serving for the 99th House District from 1987 to 2019. In 2019, then Governor-elect Andy Beshear appointed Atkins to his role as senior advisor, where he's been for the last 7 years. Atkins helped the Beshear administration navigate the COVID-19 pandemic and through the recovery and response of the 2022 Eastern Kentucky floods. Governor Beshear released a statement saying, "Every day, Rocky shows up ready to serve the people of our Commonwealth, and I know his commitment to public service will continue to drive him in his next chapter." Atkins' statement says, "It's been a tremendous honor working with Governor Beshear and his team through unprecedented challenges, while also celebrating historic economic investments and record-breaking new jobs at the highest wages in Kentucky history. Now, Ray Perry will take on the role as senior advisor. He's had the role of Deputy Secretary of Governor Beshear's executive cabinet since April. Coming up, people looking for a new way to beat the heat in Shepherdsville are going to have to wait even longer for this new aquatic center to open.
Hear from city leaders about what's delaying the opening coming up.
Best Buy is recalling over 3,800 of its gas stove. It affects the Insignia's front control gas ranges. Federal safety leaders say the knobs can accidentally get turned back on, and that's a big fire hazard. They were sold in the U.S. from 2020 to March of this year. So if you have this, contact Insignia to get a free knob replacement kit.
$500,000 is going towards an initiative to provide supportive housing for people experiencing homelessness in Louisville. Mayor Craig Greenberg announced a philanthropic grant that's benefiting Home for Good. The money comes from the healthcare company Common Spirit. Home for Good is a partnership with the Coalition for the Homeless and other community organizations. The program hopes to help at least 250 homeless people find permanent housing by 2027. The grant will support the initiative through December of next year.
Neighbors in Shepherdsville will have to wait a little bit longer for a new aquatic center to open. Shepherdsville Mayor Jose Cubero says the opening is now expected in the fall. It was supposed to open at the start of July. City officials say they've had some inspections on the center that have led to reconstruction in some parts, specifically to the pools.
I'm the most anxious person to see this open, but I want to make sure it's a quality product.
The entire facility is part of a $40 million project that includes revitalizing Shepherdsville parks and streetscapes. But it's indoors, so come fall, things may be cooler.
Yeah, but
swim inside.
You're going to want to find some kind of pool this week, that's for sure.
That is for sure, as we have more of that heat building over the next couple of days. Right now, we're seeing upper 60s and low 70s. Down to 73 now at the airport in Louisville, still holding on to 68 in Mumfordville and 66 now in North Vernon. So we're feeling pretty good. And the sun is up and shining bright, seeing clear skies on our SkyTrack camera, matching, of course, the satellite and radar that is showing the quiet conditions across our region with high pressure still in full control. Yes, we do have a boundary sitting across our region that could help to trigger 1 or 2 isolated downpours as we head into the afternoon. But the majority of us just staying sunny and dry, like what we're seeing right now. So as we head over the next 12 hours, going to keep the sunshine in our forecast, keep rain chances low, and also watch for those highs climbing into the upper 80s and the low 90s. As we look ahead to later on today as well, with the humidity relatively on the lower side, still could work that updo, not dealing with a whole lot of that moisture in the air for today, but it's still going to be on the hot side. So just keep that in mind. For tonight, clear skies as we tumble down into the 60s and the low 70s. And looking ahead to the next 10 days, we are going to monitor more of that heat around for Wednesday and Thursday, with the heat index approaching 100 degrees for both of those days. And then we roll into Friday. This is when our rain chances go up, courtesy of a cold front that moves towards us, but not quite through our area on Friday. It kind of just hovers to the north, which is why we're going to be looking at multiple rounds of rain as we get into your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's going to take some time for that front to fully move through our area. With the multiple rounds of rain coming our way, that means that we could be dealing with a localized flooding situation by the end of the weekend. So we'll be watching that closely. Drying out on Monday and staying dry through most of next week, with highs for the middle of next week mainly staying in the 80s. Shannon.
Thank you. This Saturday, Nulu will celebrate the summer with their annual Summer Fest. They'll take over the 600 to 800 blocks of East Market Street. They'll have live music, a watermelon eating contest, a limbo contest, yard games, vendors, food, and more. And new this year, competitors will test their creative skills on the spot to create a summer sipper using real cocktail syrups, fresh fruit or produce, and a liquor of choice. The winner will get $500 in cash. Nulu Summerfest begins at noon Saturday. That contest is at 1. The event ends at 7 and admission is free. The American Heart Association is looking to help new moms and moms-to-be through a community baby shower event. It's happening tomorrow from noon to 2 at Passport by Molina Healthcare on West Broadway. They'll have gifts, prizes, drinks, and more. Event organizers say there will be prenatal and postpartum tips, infant CPR, and newborn care, and more. It's free to attend. The American Heart Association wants to raise awareness about the importance of a healthy pregnancy before, during, and after the baby is born.
The American Red Cross says they need blood donations to help counter a nationwide summer shortage. The American Red Cross says donations fell about 25% last month. They're in need of all blood types, but especially O positive and B negative. Officials say someone needs blood every 2 seconds in the U.S. Hospitals tend to see more serious injuries and medical emergencies during the summer months, leading to the increased need.
You never know when something such as floods and some of the things that we've been having, natural disasters, where someone may need blood. So I figured if I do it, you never know, giving back, it may happen in case someone of my loved ones or even I may need it.
About 42,000 blood products are used every day. That's according to the American Red Cross. And that's why Wave News is partnering with Oxmoor Ford to host a blood drive tomorrow from 12:30 to 6:30. You can sign up by scanning the QR code on your screen and entering the sponsor code WAVEOX. Just make sure to bring a valid ID and eat a meal beforehand.
Well, the results are now in. We know how Kentucky and Indiana finished in the State Troopers' best-looking cruiser contest. Those results. All right, here's an incredible golf shot from pro wrestler The Miz. It happened over the weekend, and then a wild celebration.
Take a look at your screen here. This happened during the American Century Championship. You can see The Miz. He sinks a birdie, and just wait for it because the crowd goes wild and he starts giving out high fives and chest bumps to everyone. Yeah, he should definitely celebrate that shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he was going to pick someone up and like throw him to the ground.
I mean, why not? He should have.
Right?
Well, the winners have been announced for this year's American Association of State Troopers Best Looking Cruiser contest.
Right, so let's show you the local entries. Here's Indiana's. It features 2 cruisers inside IU's Memorial Stadium, highlighting IU's historic college football national championship that happened earlier this year. Indiana got 7th in the cruiser competition with nearly 13,000 votes.
And take a look at Kentucky's entry. The cruisers in front of the State Police Academy with a statue of fallen trooper James McNeely in the background. Kentucky finished in 5th this year. Over 16,000 votes for that one.
And who got first? Okay, that is a great shot. That is beautiful. Okay, this is Florida's entry. Florida got first place this year with over 52,000 votes. The top 13 cruisers will be featured on the 2027 Trooper Cruiser Wall Calendar, and you can buy it at statetroopers.org. And this week, you can put your trivia to the test at the Louisville Zoo. They're hosting a trivia night. The theme is Spicy Summer Reads. It's focused on fan-favorite novels across all genres of romance. They'll have music, prizes, food, drinks, and more. This is just for those over the age of 21. Individual tickets are $25, but if you have a team of 4, you can save some money. It'll be $80. It begins at 7 p.m. on Wednesday.
Looking ahead to this weekend, the Louisville Downtown Partnership will host another Downtown Drive-In. This Friday, July 17th, people can enjoy a free screening of The Princess Bride at the Brown-Forman Amphitheater. The movie begins at sundown, with the amphitheater opening an hour before. People are welcome to bring their own blankets and chairs and get cozy there. Food and drinks will be available for purchase. The movie lineup for the rest of the season is available online. Hoping for nice weather for that.
It's such a good movie, right? A classic.
I've never seen it. I know. We've got stuff to talk about.
How could you?
You should
That's
know
like
that.
right up your alley.
You should know. I don't watch movies.
Okay. You got to check that one out.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Good morning. I'm Shannon Kogan. Families of the victims of the Old National Bank mass shooting are continuing their lawsuit against River City Firearms. That is the gun store that sold the weapon used in the attack. In the lawsuit, families claim the store should be held responsible for selling the gun, despite what they say were red flags during the sale, including the buyer appearing unfamiliar with the weapon and avoiding eye contact. The business previously filed a motion for dismissal. It was denied by a judge in 2025. River City Firearms argues Kentucky law does not allow for these types of arguments, and federal law prohibits this type of legal claim. Judge Mitch Perry disagreed, denying the motion to dismiss. A status hearing is scheduled for today at 11:30. Let's go to meteorologist Tawana Andrew, and pretty start to the day.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous out there right now. Temperature-wise, still in the upper 60s and the low 70s, so pretty similar to what we've had for previous mornings this week. We're seeing that sunshine and the blue skies as you're heading out on our SkyTrack camera for this morning. Going to keep it sunny and going to keep it warm throughout the day, jumping into the upper 80s and low 90s for your highs this afternoon with all of that sunshine around. Now, once we head into tonight, going to return to the 60s and low 70s, and we're just going to repeat that same thing for your Wednesday. Now, we do see slightly higher rain chances on Thursday, but a much better chance for showers and thunderstorms arrives on Friday and stays with us through the upcoming weekend. Rob?
Couple of traffic alerts for you just south of the metro. We're talking right around 265 here, south of right around the Okolona area. Take a look at what we're talking about. A crash reported just about an hour ago. This is 265 westbound at 65, exit number 10. Watch out for the brake lights in that area. We're also seeing an accident in Okolona on the outer loop at Laurel Ridge Road, and also keeping our eyes on cleanup after an accident with injuries on Fern Valley Road at Preston Highway. Now back to more of the Today Show in New York.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Hope your day is off to a great start. Thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. I'm Olivia Russell. Coming up, we'll talk about some new gun laws in Kentucky. Plus, we'll get back on more World Cup action. And while we wait to talk about that story, I want you to think about this question very carefully. Do you think you could score a penalty kick against a World Cup goalie? Think really hard about that, because you might be surprised by what some people had to say after a recent survey. But first, a man who was charged in the shooting that killed the Louisville Metro Department of Corrections officer has taken a plea deal. Anthony Trabue pleaded guilty to amended charges related to Officer Michael Wade's death. Wade was shot and killed in February last year. According to police, Trabue is one of 3 suspects who led Officer Wade to an area on Cedar Street where he was shot and killed. Trabue was sentenced to 7.5 years on all counts. He'll be eligible for parole after he serves more than 6 years behind bars. A safety alert this morning as LaGrange police are investigating at least 15 car break-ins or burglaries. Most of these break-ins happened in or near the Washington Manor subdivision near East Main Street and 4th Avenue on Friday morning. LaGrange police posted on social media this warning to residents to be vigilant as the thieves are looking for guns, cash, and garage door openers, often by just checking for unlocked door handles. 2 vehicles were stolen, but both have since been recovered, one of them found by LMPD in Louisville. Police say the thieves are either teenagers or young adults, and they often covered their faces. Residents who couldn't believe this could happen in their area.
Surprised that this would happen here.
And really, I was surprised if my subsidy had the right address. I said, "Are you sure it happened here?" He said, "Yeah."
These break-ins are really concerning. I don't think I had heard that there was more than one.
If you know anything about these car thefts, you're urged to call LaGrange Police. And speaking of car break-ins, deputies in southern Indiana are also looking for the person caught on camera stealing items from cars. The Scott County Sheriff's Office posted this video from June 26th. They say it captures the first of several cars a suspect broke into near eastern Washington County. In the video, someone is seen going into a truck after parking on the road. Deputies say the homeowners didn't know the person, but they came forward when they realized that stuff was missing. The other homeowners also reported to police similar stories and videos showing the same thief. Now officials are asking for people to contact them if they know who this person is or if you've also been a victim of a car break-in. We're getting new reactions to a new state law that lowers the concealed carry age from 21 down to 18 in the state of Kentucky. Governor Andy Beshear vetoed the proposal that arrived to his desk early this year, but supporting state lawmakers overrode that veto. Wave News reporter Julia Richardson breaks down who has to navigate all these changes.
Staff at Next Level Ranges gun store in Louisville say they get plenty of calls. They're usually from people interested in taking classes and learning how to safely use guns. Recently, trainers have been talking to a younger crowd of clients, 18 to 20-year-olds.
We're getting several calls a day.
Potential students are likely aware of the change that House Bill 312 brings. Starting Wednesday, people in Kentucky 18 to 20 years old can earn a concealed carry permit, even though they still cannot legally buy a firearm.
It doesn't change the constitutional law that without a permit, they are still not eligible to carry that gun concealed.
Governor Andy Beshear vetoed HB 312 in early April. He argued that while he believes in the Second Amendment, Kentuckians under 21 cannot make other transactions, like rent a car or buy alcohol. The state legislature overrode Beshear's veto to pass the law.
To allow concealed carry for that age group is just bad public policy. I really supported the governor's veto of the bill.
In my phone interview with State Representative Lisa Wilner, she talked about how 18 to 20-year-olds can already openly carry in Kentucky, but highlighted that this bill brings new challenges.
It really can lead to confusion on the part of law enforcement, makes it really hard for the public to assess danger, and it can really escalate situations where that's just not necessary.
Everyone who comes in and wants to get a concealed carry license does not always get approved for that.
Troy Milburn and staff at Next Level Ranges say they won't evaluate younger customers any differently.
The curriculum that they have to go through, the testing, both written and on the range, that proves that they are able to handle that responsibility is very important.
What they're waiting for now is guidance from the Department of Criminal Justice about exactly what a class for younger adults will look like.
There will probably be a little more talk in those classes about when you can and can't use a firearm, giving them a little better understanding of what that looks like in a real world situation.
We're told because gun ranges are waiting on the Department of Criminal Justice, classes for the 18 to 20-year-old age group most likely won't be available until the fall. The first day of school less than a month away for Jefferson County Public School students, and new Kentucky laws are bringing changes before they return. Many of those laws take effect on Wednesday and cover everything from student discipline and school bus safety to school board governance and superintendent authority. Senate Bills 1 and 4 have been among the most closely watched education laws passed this year, and JCPS has spent the past several months preparing for them. Part of Senate Bill 1 will shift more authority to JCPS Superintendent Brian Yearwood by requiring a 2/3 vote of the Jefferson County Board of Education to override any decisions instead of a simple majority. Under Senate Bill 4, all JCPS board seats will be up for election this November, regardless of when members were last elected. The bill also reduces the board from 7 members down to 5. However, only 3 of the 7 current members will be running again. Changes to federal student loans expect to affect millions of borrowers took effect July 1st, including those across the Louisville area. As part of the president's big, beautiful bill, these changes mean the end of some payment plans and new limits for graduate loans. Some of the changes include parents taking out loans on behalf of their undergrad students. They can borrow up to $20,000 per student each year. Graduate students are capped at borrowing $20,500 per year. For students getting a professional degree, such as a medical degree, the annual cap is $50,000. The U.S. Department of Education says on its website that it hopes these limits will stop people from borrowing more than they can afford, as well as pressure universities to lower their costs. The financial counselor for the Kentuckiana Works College Access Center says some of the students she sees are getting worried.
It's definitely some nervousness going on, especially when they know that they need to depend on this federal money to go to school. And when things like this come into play and changes, it can be very disheartening.
About 9 million Americans are in default on their federal student loans as of June. That's according to the Education Department. Hundreds of thousands more are behind on loan payments and at risk of default this year. Brown-Forman will soon have a new president and CEO as Lawson Whiting is retiring. Whiting will officially hand over the reins once the company chooses his successor. The Brown-Forman Board of Directors has started their search for the next CEO, as their process will consider internal and external candidates. Whiting began his career at the company in 1997 and has served on the company's executive leadership team since 2013. Under Whiting's leadership, Brown-Forman saw massive international expansion from the brands Jack Daniels, Woodford Reserve, and Old Forester. We're going to take a quick break. When we come, we'll have a quick check of your forecast. Stick with us.
Meteorologist Tawana Andrew here with a check of your Tuesday forecast. And for today, we're talking about plenty of sunshine and warmer conditions, jumping into the upper 80s and low 90s for your highs for later on today as rain chances remain low. Once we get into tonight, going to see those temperatures returning to the 60s and low 70s with those mainly clear skies still in our forecast. Looking ahead to the next 10 days, going to keep the sunshine, keep the warmth for tomorrow, adding in some slightly higher rain chances, but still keeping things pretty isolated on Thursday. A much better chance for those showers and thunderstorms arrives on Friday and lasts into the weekend as a front basically stalls out nearby. So with the repeated rounds of heavy rainfall, that could lead to some localized flash flooding, which is something we are unfortunately very familiar with across the region for this summer. We get into Monday, still keeping some rain chances around before we dry out and cool down by the middle of next week.
Alrighty, so yeah, we have a lot of events happening this weekend. We need some good weather for the weekend.
Good dry weather too, yeah.
And that Downtown Happy Hour series back for another summer, kicking off tomorrow in partnership with Ohio Valley Wrestling. The Pepsi Plaza at KFC Yum Center will play host to the free pop-up event featuring live professional wrestling, a DJ, food vendors, beer and cocktails, and after the show, meet and greet with the wrestlers. That's happening from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And more Downtown Happy Hours will happen on select nights through October at spots all across downtown, bringing together music and entertainment, all kinds of food vendors and pop-up bars. So you can get your tickets at LouisvilleDowntown.org.
That looks like fun.
It does. I mean,
be outside and enjoy the weather and kind of check out the sights. If you haven't been down there, there's so much going on.
And wrestling, that's something you don't see every day too. But speaking of events happening this weekend, a familiar community event celebrating National Parks and Recreation Month returns to Louisville this weekend. The annual Saturday in the Park event will take place on Saturday, of course, for Saturday in the Park. That'll be from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Joe Creason Park. This year's theme, The Power Of, is meant to recognize how parks bring communities together through nature, play, and belonging. So along with live music from the local band, the Salty Dogs, people can enjoy food trucks, West 6th Brewing, field day events, and families will even get up-close looks at some of the equipment that helps maintain parks around the city. That includes remote-controlled mowers, specialty vehicles, and get this, snow plows. Yeah, they're not being used right now, so might as well bring them out to the event, right?
And maybe some future employees of the city there, they say, maybe someday that can be me riding one of those mowers. Very cool. Hey, did you hear about this? This past month, communities in Kentucky, they've been reporting more bear sightings. Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife says they're looking for food and they are mating. Now, one security camera recorded this visit last weekend at a home in Smiths Grove in Western Kentucky. The bear seen going through one man's trash can, not only once, but twice in just 2 days. He was bold. Now, wildlife experts say the best way to prevent a bear from targeting your property late at night is to secure your trash.
We've been here over 20 years. And I've heard rumors of bears and things like that. But I mean, we've had peacocks, turkey families, deer, everything else out here. I have never seen a bear up close like that ever. And to see an animal that size in my yard, one of the videos, it flipped the trash can over kind of violently. And it's not a huge bear. So that kind of display of power is a little odd to have something that large wandering and lurking around in the woods here.
Wow, he's not big, but he is quick. I would say you have whatever you want. I'm going to get in my car and drive away, have the house, my trash, whatever you want. Experts, by the way, say it's also important to remember that dog food and your bird feeders could also attract a hungry bear. I never thought about the bird feeders, but I guess if they just want something small to nibble on, they can. But whatever it's there, it's up for the taking, according to them.
They will eat any kind of food. I have been obsessed with bears lately, mostly because I was just in Montana hoping to see one.
Yeah.
Didn't see one, but I wouldn't want to see one in my backyard. That's for sure. Well, on the topic of animals, a goat being called an honorary firefighter after it helped lead a Colorado Springs department safely to a wildfire. Firefighters found Goldie the goat while trying to make it through thick bushes in an attempt to hike to a wildfire burn area. Firefighters say they actually followed Goldie down an area that was not as harsh to navigate.
She was actually trying to take us down an area that wasn't maybe quite as rocky, wasn't quite as slippery, maybe had better footing. So she was obviously a pro at her job.
Goldie has now gone viral, even has her own line of merch, and a portion of the proceeds will go to the Castle Rock Professional Firefighters Association. She doesn't look like a wild goat there, but did you know goats can be trained just like dogs? So I think she could be a strong asset to a fire.
You know
team.
this too, I hear, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
I did spend some time working at the zoo.
Time at the zoo. Man's best friend, maybe now goat's man's best friend. I don't know. She's so chill and relaxed. She's like, just follow me. I'll get you taken care of.
Yeah.
Thank you, Goldie.
So we're used to seeing horses run on the track, but a Washington race course hosted a different type of race over the weekend.
Check this out. Emerald Downs held its 2026 T-Rex World Championships on Sunday. Now, hundreds of people competed in the men's, women's, and children's T-Rex heats. Emerald Downs, by the way, has been hosting that big race since 2019. It looks like fun, but I would think that'd be hot and cumbersome trying to move in those things. That's a workout in itself, man.
You probably can't see very well. A foot race is already hard enough, and put yourself in a difficult costume like that. Yeah, that one is tough.
But you end with a smile. That's all that matters, man. It looks like a good time, but you are getting a workout.
Mm-hmm.
Seen it all now. All right, what are we doing next? How about, do you think you could score a World Cup penalty cup kick against a professional keeper? I would say no to me, but 1 in 4 Americans actually says they think they could do it.
Yeah, I asked this at the very top of the show, and I told people, please really consider your answer, because apparently there are a lot of confident people out there. The findings of a survey of 2,000 people found 28% of people think they could convert from the penalty spot if that moment arose. So confidence in converting the pressure kick rises the younger a person is. 43% of Gen Z feel they could beat a World Cup goalie versus 37% of millennials, 26% of Gen X, and only 12% of baby boomers, probably the most realistic there. In a separate survey, it was found that men have more confidence in their abilities to score than women, because 24% of American men say they definitely or probably could score a penalty kick in a World Cup match, including 41% of men under the age of 30, and only 15% of women believe that they could score. But I'm saying, if you really think you can, come on.
Yeah, I would be happy to try, but I wouldn't make any promises. My ball would probably end up hitting somebody in the head in the audience. So I don't know, man. I would try it. But it looks like fun.
There's a reason why even the professionals struggle with it. So, like, if they can't, maybe just really think about that answer.
Ambition is a wonderful thing to have, though, at any age, I guess.
Yeah. Well, speaking of World Cup, we're going to have some of those headlines coming up in just 2 minutes. Stick with us. Former UK head basketball coach Tabby Smith has been named to the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2026. Smith won 642 games in his career, including the 1998 National Championship with the Cats. He also led the Cats to 5 SEC regular season championships and 5 SEC tournament championships. The 2026 class features coaches Smith, Jay Wright, and Ted Owens. The 2026 class will be enshrined on October 22nd in Kansas City, Missouri. Big congratulations to all of those honorees. Western Kentucky University has a brand new ticket package for fans to check out their teams at home venues in 4 different sports. For $600, Hilltopper Athletic fans who buy Big Red Bundle get tickets to every home football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball games. Each Big Red Bundle has 4 tickets to each game, which school staff say makes it an attractive option for families.
So we want everybody to be a WKU athletics fan, and we want to give our fans opportunities to come to all of our athletic events. So we're really looking for ways to, get all of our fans here, because we know what works for one fan might not work for another. And this is a great opportunity for our fans to attend a lot of games, small families, because it is 4 tickets to every home game. So it's just another opportunity and another option for our fans to be able to come to our athletic events.
WKU Athletics says it hopes the bundle will be an affordable way to increase home attendance this upcoming season. Well, after 2 days with no World Cup action, it's back today with the first semifinal matchup between France and Spain. Heading into the tournament, these two were the favorites, with Spain starting with the best odds to win it all at 16% and France at 13%. However, for France, they've looked dominant this World Cup. They've yet to lose or even tie a match at this year's World Cup while scoring 16 goals, and they've yet to give up a goal in the knockout stage. As for Spain, they've been good when it mattered. After tying their first game of the tournament against Cape Verde, they've not lost or drawn since and have only given up 1 goal all World Cup. Kickoff for this one is set for 3 p.m., and you can watch that game on Fox. Well, still talking about soccer here. Lou City just 3 wins away from getting their hands on another trophy, and they now know the next team standing in their path. After beating Lexington over the weekend and winning their group in the USL Cup, the boys in purple will face off against the Tampa Bay Rowdies on Wednesday, August 12th, with kickoff set for 7 p.m. It's the first time Lou City has advanced to the USL Cup's knockout stage, with it being the second season in which the club has taken part in the tournament. Tampa Bay won Group 7 with a perfect 4-0 record, earning 12 points. Should Lou City advance from the quarterfinals, though, Louisville's Lynn Family Stadium could host a semifinal matchup pending a semifinal draw. So we are hoping that they can continue winning. That's all the time we have here for Sunrise Extra. I hope you have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.